We must know that as humans we have an instinct to protect our children. It's the basic instinct of every species of life. There is continuity of generations of humans. Our human evolution is because we have that instinct to protect our children. We have an instinct within the world we live in to protect the environment for the future generations. The instinct is born out of millions of years. It has been carried forward. The same instinct is with all kinds of species of life. But as we understand, a mother's milk is the first instinct of the mother to feed the child. But vermin energies are more of a deprived energy. It does not understand the energies of the world. It does not have the instinct to protect the children. It's a story of an individual with a complete vermin energy. And this vermin energy kind of came into the life of a person who was working along with the energies of the earth to sustain life. And this vermin, for its own personal gain, in terms of destruction, it was about people not knowing that this was a vermin and working along with them. But once the vermin was identified, it would run 1,000 kilometers because it was afraid for its own speck of life. The vermin, which is breathing the oxygen and working against it, and a death warrant was given by a judge after studying the vermin's life. The vermin had spread disease in families, and the families did not know that this was a vermin working along with them. And this vermin had targeted people, and those people didn't know that this vermin was targeting them. Once that vermin was identified, it ran for its life. It's an energy which is completely depleted. So such energies, which might be 0.101% of the earth, which does not respect a mother's first instinct and affects our world, affects our earth, which is 0.01%.
And if the law enforcement deals with such vermin energies, who affects the future of our earth and the life-sustaining forces and the future of our own children and the unborn child, they will be enormously blessed for their efforts in containing and apprehending and dealing with such vermin energies. The blessings of the source code of life, which provides oxygen to us to breathe, and the water will be on the side of us and the law enforcement, blessing their lives today and into the future. They will have a meaning in the yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
As we know that we are humans and we evolve over time. We have evolved over the past 100,000 years. And our evolution has been minute at every small degrees. 3,000 years ago, 7 people set out to check the world, to conquer new worlds in their minds, to find new places to trade. So they approached the king and they said that we're going to explore the world, and in case we explore it, it would be a new territory, which might be a kind of expanse for the kingdom, or we would try and help new trade routes. So these people, 7 people, set out with the best of boat, the best of a yacht, and as they moved through the sea, there were winds, but because of their skills in terms of sailing, they were able to navigate new lands. And the leader of this expedition was Columbus, and he discovered a new land. He discovered new trade routes, new systems of trade, and new areas of trade was established. During the times of travel by the sea, around 3,000 years back, The group experienced huge waves within the sea, but the majority of the Earth's energies were kind of conducive for traveling by the sea. There were routes of travel by which they could move by horses. But if they had to travel from different continents, the best of travel was the sea, and the sea was by and large much more peaceful than we see today. Today we see extremes of weather, extremes of energies of the earth in terms of the waves, in terms of the storms within the sea, in terms of extreme weather patterns across the world. This is one of the basic reasons of our knowledge that we can do everything for ourselves, irrespective of concern for our earth. Today, we have come to an understanding by a large extent that we must allow the energies of the earth which sustain life flourish. And to allow such energies of the earth to sustain the earth, we must heal the earth. We have polluted the earth with all kinds of greenhouse gases emitted from industries, automobiles. And our earth has kind of heated up in the human sense, as we call it. We have created an imbalance of the winds to a large extent, and we must help heal the earth. And we are not alone. The greatest of systems of learning, the deep learning, the artificial general intelligence of the future, the greatest of computer chips and the quantum computers will help those energies of the earth calm down and help humans, provided we have a clear direction to move with the source code of life of our universe and our earth. The greatest of learning will help us quell the greatest of storms. It will help heal the earth and come to a balance by which we will not experience extreme storms, extreme drought weather patterns. If there is no rains at some particular area within the earth, we will have technology which will help disperse the clouds and help rains go into deserts. We will have the best of agricultural systems so that what sections of the people of the earth will have enough nutrition irrespective of the land area they live in. We will help the soil nourish itself with organic life. We will have all kinds of deep systems of learning, quadrupling in knowledge into the future, which means that in just 10 years' time, we will have nearly 1,000 and 10,000 years of evolution in terms of knowledge, scientific knowledge. We understand we are quadrupling our knowledge as of now. It is no longer the energy system which we had 10,000 years back. It's no longer the evolutionary system which we had 10,000 years back. Around 10,000 years back or 50,000 years back, we moved at a very small pace of evolution. Today, with the greatest of learning systems, we are quadrupling our knowledge. 2 and 2 becomes 4 and 4 becomes 16. Over a period of 10 additions or multiplication, we would move to huge numbers of evolution in terms of percentage, and such knowledge will help us move with the energies of the earth which sustain life. All of our discoveries will help the earth heal itself, provide the right energies, and we will move our technologies into the future. Our cities will be along with the best of gardens, the best of infrastructure, along with the forest also, which will help us, which might be just beside the cities. We will have a balance of nature and prosperity in terms of infrastructure and businesses and people, corporates, companies working for the future generations in the present. When we have such kind of information moving into the vast section of the people of our earth that they must work for the future generations, their life on earth, our lives on earth are for the present goodness of the energies of the earth which sustain life, and into the future for the future children and the future generations and the unborn children. We will have a clear direction to move with the source code of goodness of our earth. And by doing so, we are at present moving towards health, wealth, and spiritual wellness, as well as we are blessing the future generations. Let's replenish our earth. Into the future, we will have new discoveries coming up in terms of science, technologies, and every kind of understanding we have along with the energies of the earth. But what makes all the difference is our deep subconscious within humanity to move with the energies of life, the life-sustaining forces of our earth, which includes our own oxygen. There were couples 100 years into the future who wanted to have a good time. And during their time together, they had emotional connection. But as we know today, in couples, in lovers, there are times when they have fights. Their emotions vary, their kind of opinion on things vary. But 100 years into the future, technologies will help bring about a balance in terms of their mind, in terms of their liking. Couples will be able to select each other in terms of their understanding of the world. And if they have some kind of differences in their opinion, which might lead to conflicts, the technologies of the future, the deepest of learning, the greatest of computer chips, the supercomputers, will help the minds gel together in ways that we did not conceive today. Couples into the future will have a more beautiful time in terms of their understanding of each other. As we know, in today's world, there are two energies which sustain every life. The energy of a male and a female, the alpha and a gamma, form stars. Two energies of the universe collide and form stars. The energies within human in terms of the attraction of a male and a female creates sensuality, and that sensual energy is very important for creativity. We must understand that all kinds of creative energies of our earth is about sensuality. The moment you move into the beautiful rivers, into the lakes, which is pristine, the moment you experience the beautiful flowers, the beauty within a flower, the beauty of the most colored animals, the beauty of the most colored birds, which includes the peacock, the display of the peacock to attract its mate. Such will be the display of humans in terms of sexual energy. Sensual energy is different from sexual energy. Sensual energy is the energy of the universe, which brings creativity. And that will be the energy which brings prosperity in terms of health, wealth, and spiritual abundance. The moment we neglect sensual energy, which is the source code of life, which is the source code of creativity, the energy of suppression can take over. We must not allow that energy to deplete. All of our technologies, all of our discoveries, our scientific evolution, our cultural evolution, our traditions, our crafts, all kinds of human goodness emerge out of an energy of sensuality. The reason that animals display all kinds of colors is also to attract their mates. It's not the time of physical activity in terms of sexuality which will be important. That will be a part of sensuality. But the basic reason by which you see the display of flowers, the beautiful pollination by the birds, the beautiful birds flying all around us, the beauty of nature in terms of the trees, the forest, the natural life, will be also a time when humans will be able to create new life systems, new discoveries for the future, along with the energies of the earth which sustain life. Let the energies of sensual goodness, the energy of creation, help our earth prosper into the future, along with the greatest of technologies and all kinds of information systems and technologies which we will build into the future, along with the source code and the basics of life of our earth, which is the oxygen, the water, the gravity, and every life system on earth. By doing so, the future generations will be blessed and they will thank us into the future for what we have done in the present. And our present lives on earth are also blessed because we are moving with the source code of life into abundance. And our present is blessed along with the future. And we are in a win-win situation. We have a meaning in the yesterday, today, and tomorrow for the lives that we have lived. When the whole of humanity, at least a vast percent of humanity, moved with the energies of the earth which sustain life, which means they have it in their subconscious in whatever field that they're doing, be it in a very small way on an individual basis or as a society, as a nation, as a world. It begins from the self. Once as a self, people get into professions, fields of work by which they work for the future generations. They will move into abundance in the present because they are moving with the source of creativity, which makes us human, which makes us different from all other animals. And by doing so in the present, their lives are blessed on an individual basis. And when the huge section of our earth, the population of earth, are able to bring in prosperity into the subconscious in terms of working along with the energies of the earth that we live in is also being healed in itself from extremes of climate or any kind of extremes of weather or any kind of thinking which leads our world into turmoil. The world as a whole will become much more peaceful, much more conducive with the energy of the earth which sustains life. Now, when we talk about the energies of the earth which sustain life, it also means that we work against energies which might destroy the energies of goodness of our earth. As we understand, the basic instinct within humans is to help future generations evolve. The basic instinct of a mother is to breastfeed her newborn baby. It's an instinct among 99.9% of humans. It's among all species of life. But there is still 0.01% energy which works against the energies of life of our earth. And such energies has to be dealt with the law enforcement. The purpose of the law enforcement of our earth on an individual, society, country, and as a world as a whole, which includes the United Nations, to protect the future generations in a sense. And the law enforcement at every level must work to help their own children into the future. And by doing so, we will have a earth protection force on an individual, society, nation, and as a world as a whole. Our world is protected. And we are contributing to ourselves for health, wealth, and spiritual prosperity at the present and into the future. Let's replenish our earth.
Just imagine the brightest of lights, which powers the biggest of stadiums on earth, which is used for the biggest of events, functions, ceremonies, watched by millions of people. To light up an entire stadium, you require thousands, 10,000s, and maybe even 1,000,000 lights. And then that light is kind of limited to that particular area of the stadium. Now just compare the light of 1,000,000 bulbs within a stadium to the light of our sun. The sun powers the entire earth, the entire ecosystem. It is because of the sun that there is food on our plates, that there are plants, there are trees, there are fruits, there are other animal species, there is rains, there's a breeze. Everything works in synergy along with the sun, which provides the basic energy for the earth to survive, for human species to evolve, thrive, and prosper into the future. And we as humans must also respect other life forms to prosper along with the sun's energy. The sun's energy has the power to give life to not just our planet, but also to every
system of life within the seas, within other planets which move because of the sun's energy working along with the earth. If the sun's energy did not work along with the earth itself would be uninhabitable. So let's respect that beautiful and wonderful force of creation of the universe, the source code of life, of goodness, of the godly force of our universe to work in our lives. The energy of the sun is the most important energy for life. And once we respect the energy of life, of the sun and all of the other systems of life associated with it, which includes the oxygen from the trees, which powers the entire oxygen system of the world, the food system, the day and the night, our sleep patterns, our climate patterns, the food sources for every living beings on earth. Once we come to acknowledge the sun's energy through our godly devotion, we must understand that the sun's energy is part of the religion that we believe in. It's the godly energy of our devotion to our faith. Without the sun, there would not be any religion on earth, because there wouldn't be life on earth. And that godly form has created the sun for us humans as a gift, so that the source code of life of our universe must be respected for the future of our earth and its future generations. Let's replenish our earth. In animals, to survive in the wild, especially in the forest, it needs a certain amount of strength. The strength of a bird, it's the ability to fly. It's its ability to spot food sources, which might include the fruits within the trees or seeds, nuts. And also for carnivorous birds, it would be smaller prey, which includes rodents and the other species which are smaller. Now for other animals within a forest, which are also vegetarian as well as non-veg in our human sense, or which are carnivorous or herbivorous in the terms of science. Within a forest, bison feeds in grass, and its strength lies in feeding in the best quality of grass, as well as having the strength to counter carnivorous animals which might look at it as prey. Now the carnivorous animals also are looking for food, and they rely on their strength as well as their bite force. Now every animal, irrespective of the species, which includes the birds, requires a degree of bite force to consume for the sake of survival, for the sake of the instinct of survival, or the carnivorous or herbivorous instinct. Now when you are biting for an elephant, it will be large trees, large swaths of branches of trees. For the giraffe or Now, for a lion, tiger, a jaguar, or any other species of cats and carnivorous animals, their bite force lies in their teeth and the muscles within the jaw. And also, it is also the instinct of the mind. Now, the teeth and all of the muscles is just an extension of the genes which was enabled over millions of years of evolution for certain traits within each animal. And the bite force of a tiger, a lion, is to a large degree much more stronger than other carnivorous animals. That's why it's on the top of the predatory group, as we call as humans and study it. But at the end of the day, no matter where they are on the food structure in terms of the forest, in terms of the natural habitat, it is primarily that all of the animals are kind of looking for a good life in terms of food and their territory, or in terms of having the best lifestyle they look forward to. Now, the bite force and the strength of a lion, a cheetah, a bison, an elephant, a giraffe, as we understand, is about food, it's about territory, and each of them have their own specific needs for their lifetime. But the human bite force has reached a point where we have developed nuclear weapons to deter other countries from the territory that we call ourselves, and which is absolutely important also. But we must understand the nuclear energy that we have is just a speck of dust in the energy of the universe. The energy within the Earth's crust has billions and billions of times more energy and force than all of the nuclear weapons in the world. But as humans, as we understand, we need to protect our territories, and our use of nuclear weapons or the storage of nuclear weapons should only be as a defensive measure. It must never be used by our intellect, by our intelligence. But it must be a deterrence. What I mean by that is, if it is only at the last minute and the last point after every other option is gone, then the use of nuclear weapons can be prompted in very limited degrees to find a solution as soon as possible, and then again prosper back along with the energies of the earth. Now, as we understand, the contents of any kinds of defense, and including nuclear weapons, is about the energies of the earth being stored within a bomb or whatever we call it. But it's the energies of the earth. We must respect that energy of the earth. And the energy of the earth, in terms of the defense of the earth, must only be used especially among the nuclear force of the earth, which is from uranium, as we understand, for the protection of the earth. And when it is used, it must not affect the earth in the long term in any way. In terms of defense, if it has to be used as a last option, it must only serve that purpose of protecting the earth. Let's replenish our earth. Mountain climbers who try to reach the highest peaks and develop certain skills of climbing, and that ability of getting into the highest peak, maintaining a balance of mind along with the muscles, along with a technique and skills associated with climbing the mountains, which includes Mount Everest. People who conquer Mount Everest have certain skills in their mindset, in their physical attributes which they develop. Now, conquering the Mount Everest is one feat which must be appreciated. But much more than conquering Mount Everest or the highest peaks in the world, along with it, humans must be able to conquer the instincts which draw us back within our humanness. There were 7 people who wanted to develop the best skills in terms of their vision of the world. And they studied themselves as to how they've evolved over the past 30 years of their lives. They were all in the 30s and 40s. And out of the 7, 3 of them were struggling day to day. One of them was into all kinds of crimes and running about from the law enforcement. And 3 others had moved along with the energies of the earth. Now, when they moved along with the energies of the earth, they got into spheres of life which helped the future generations. And they believed that the oxygen that they breathe is what powers their life, and they worked for the goodness of the future generations along with the energies of the earth. And when we talk about goodness for the future generation, it's not about everything good in this world. It is also protecting the future generations from harmful energies which might affect the future of the unborn. And they got into different fields, which includes law enforcement, which includes industrial. One of them, one of the best industrialists and entrepreneurs. Another in the terms of science and technology associated with biosciences. And all these 3 people evolved because the primary purpose was to work with the future, work with the energy systems of the earth which sustains life, the oxygen, the water. And their lives were enormously blessed, not just because they sought blessing, not because they ran after money or wealth. It's because they had a firm purpose to help the source code of life of our earth. Let's replenish our earth. When we talk about the story of Ashoka the Great, the Emperor of India and the subcontinent, and the territory of the nearby countries as we see today, which is also a part of the land which Emperor Ashoka ruled. As we mentioned that he renounced violence and he moved towards non-violence. But renouncing non-violence was from a point of strength. What he meant by renouncing non-violence was he had armies. He had the required weapons in terms of defense, which included all of the required forces of the most effective defense force for his kingdom. And from that position of strength, he sought peace. He engaged with other kings, princes, people in authority, so that they could manage not just his kingdom better and also in association. And he found the pillars of Dharma, which means respect for every living being on earth, every living form on earth. But respect also means that every living form has its own place. A deer has its function in the world as a deer. A lion moves in the forest like a lion, has the instincts of a lion. An elephant moves with an instinct of an elephant, along with its big body, muscle, brain, and acts like an elephant. And it's a wonderful sight to see elephants in the forest and in nature. And it's also the same with horses or any other species of animals, and also birds, which includes the most magnificent of eagles, which is able to spot prey from a very vast distance, the minutest of prey, which usually is the rodents and other smaller species. The eagle has a bird's eye view of a very large area, which we must follow also in our human intelligence. Our human intelligence is a small speck of dust from the energy of the universal intelligence. Be able to gather some kind of knowledge about how the energies of the earth functions, how the energies of the universe keeps all of the planets in its place within its orbit, and the millions of other planets apart from our solar systems. So the story of Ashoka the Great, moving towards peace and prosperity for his kingdom, was an acknowledgement that violence in terms of destruction and gain for the carnal flesh alone is a complete futile way of existence and life on the earth, because on the last day, the greatest of empires and the greatest of emperors on earth did not have any meaning of their lives if their lives were completely focused about themselves, because they could not carry anything into the grave. Their lives had only a purpose, a meaning, and is remembered today because they had contributed to their future generations. As we mentioned today, in terms of the best roads, in terms of the best infrastructure, in terms of the best coexistence with other beings, which includes wildlife, the best of gardens and forests, maintaining the ecosystems. We remember the greatest of kings, governments, people in authority and office for their contribution, along with the source code of life, which maintains life for every living being on earth, which sustains the oxygen that we breathe and the water that we drink, which is in part oxygen. Let's replenish the earth. As we see a squirrel, the bigger the squirrel, usually children love the squirrel, to watch the squirrel, how it feeds on the seeds and how it moves on the trees. And they are loved to prosper across the earth. The moment you see a squirrel and children see a squirrel, they love a squirrel, Usually that's the response, that's the instinct. And the instinct has been built over thousands and millions of years. And they prosper across the world in the open. But it's not the same in our instinct with rats, which feed on the food within our kitchens or which creates disease within our house. There are inner instinct to extinguish rodents within humans. And it's with all other species of life. Let our lives be something which brings joy to people, which helps their lives, which improves their lives. It does not matter in which strata of society they are in. If we have an attitude, that attitude is everything. The attitude of a squirrel is not just to feed, it's also to give a sense of goodness to the environment which is there. It's not the same with any rodent. Once we have an attitude which helps people, people will help us prosper no matter what. The problem is, many of our mindsets have got into trying to create problems for other people and trying to use deprivation of energies, which includes looking for weakness. As humans, we have intellect. It's weakness in the wild to clear out species which are kind of incompetent to work in the wild. But among human species, it's all about intellect. Humans are humans because of creativity. And once we focus on creativity and work with creative solutions, creative people in the creative attitude towards life, then we are with the energies of the universe, which helps the future generations, the future children, the present children, and their unborn. And in doing so, it is the most smartest, wisest, easiest, and the only way we should focus our lives as humans. The moment we try to move with any other kind of species, which includes rodents, in terms of the mindset, our lives are kind of cursed as humans on earth. Because humans are not made with an intellect which is in small degrees by which we can access the intelligence of the universe. We are not made so that we can move with the other animals who are just behind their carnal instincts or the instincts of the flesh. You cannot blame them, and in fact you should appreciate them because they're doing the part of an animal. And it is a beautiful structure in nature in terms of evolution, so that the animals prosper and also move about in the world, so that other animals also take their place in terms of evolution. But humans have that ability to create better life within our earth in terms of intelligence. And once we respect that intelligence, we will have the right attitude. And attitude is everything in life. It's about your blessings in life today. It's about the position in our lives today. It's about your attitude towards the future generation, which will bring meaning to your life today, to our lives today. Let's replenish our earth. In the year 2731, way into the future, there was a comet, an asteroid, coming towards Earth. Now the comet would have passed Earth, but still would have caused enormous problems because it was too close. But the asteroid was heading directly towards Earth. It was hurling down at enormous speeds of more than 70,000 kilometers per hour. The asteroid was the size of 10 football fields, which is enough to destroy the Earth tens and thousands of times. But in 2700, the greatest of deep learning, the greatest of computer chips, the AI knowledge of the quantum computers would help humans avert a great disaster that will affect Earth. The technology into the future would track down the asteroid, would know the exact path of the asteroid, and then the nuclear weapons would be positioned so that the asteroid can change its path through a direct impact on its trajectory. And in 2700, the asteroid was a absolute sure hit on Earth, which would destroy the entire Earth. But because of technology, because of AI, because of deep learning, because of our energies, which is one with the universal force of life, with the knowledge into the future, Our technologies in the future are with the energies of the earth which sustain life, and that technology will help us avoid big asteroids which might be heading towards Earth, or any kind of calamity which might affect Earth. Such will be the effective technology into the future if we are one and sync with the source code of life which protects our Earth and the future children of our Earth. Let's replenish our Earth.
In our lives, we have different situations by which we find it quite easy, we find it quite mediocre to handle it, and we find it very tough to handle certain situations. But as we mentioned before, the only difference which makes us to be successful is to be along with the energies of the earth which sustain life, the source code of life. That is the only difference which will make our lives not just meaningful on earth, it will have a meaning in the eternity of time. The speck of life that we have will have a deeper connection to the vibrancy of our universe, to the energy of life sustaining forces of our universe. And that small speck of life will be a part of eternity. Now, during the small speck of life, over millions of years, many people have come and gone on earth. But the only difference they have made is because they were connected to the energies of the earth. And it's not just our remembrance. More than a remembrance, it's a greater connection to the energy of the universe which sustains the planets, the wind, the breeze, the oxygen, the water, the rivers, the lakes, the other planets within our solar system and outside. It's a greater intelligence at work, and our life during those times that we are on earth is a part of that connection to the source code of life of the universe. And when we live a life of purpose along with the universal energies, we are connected with the all-compassing energy of the universe. Let's replenish our earth. Let's take a story from the Tsars of Russia and the life-sustaining forces of our earth. In the vast expanse of Russia, the Tsars ruled with authority and vision. From the grandeur of the Kremlin to the serene beauty of the countryside, the connection between the rulers and the land was profound. The Tsars, like Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, understood the importance of the earth's resources. They expanded the empire, tapping into the rich soils, dense forests, and flowing rivers that sustained life for the kingdom. Agriculture thrived, providing food and stability for the people. Nature's cycles influenced Russian life deeply. The long, harsh winters taught resilience, while the brief but bountiful summers brought growth and renewal. The energy of the earth, from the warming sun to the fertile land, was a constant presence in the lives of the Tsars and their subjects. In palaces adorned with treasures, the Tsars still appeared and appreciated the simple beauty of natural life, of the natural world. Gardens bloomed with vibrant life, and hunting expeditions into wilderness reinforced the bond and their bond with the land and nature. However, as industrialization crept, the balance between progress and preservation became a challenge. The Tsars faced the task of harnessing the earth's resources responsibly, ensuring that life-sustaining forces remained intact for future generations. The legacy of the Tsars intertwined with the earth's energy.
This is a testament to the enduring relationship between humanity and our nature, a relationship that continues to nourish and inspire. Let the stories of the Tsars of Russia, who worked along with the energies of the earth which sustained life for their future generations, for their present people who lived, survived, and prospered along with the soil, along with the oxygen, along with the wind, along with the rains and seasons, along with the extreme climates. All of the climate systems of Russia, which were in the extremes and the brief summers, encouraged them to build resilience during the winters and appreciate the beauty of nature during the summers. The Tsars of Russia was an inspiration to work along with the energies of the earth to sustain life, thereby Russian lifestyle along with the most beautiful of cities, with the most beautiful of natural gardens, the fountains, the city of Petersburg, which is one of the most beautiful cities on earth, was conceived and constructed and came into life during the period of the greatest of Tsars. Let their stories be an inspiration for us into the future of our learning, and the deepest of learning, the greatest of chips and the quantum computers will help us move along with the energies of the earth, with the greatest of construction, the greatest of administration, the most beautiful of natural life, the most beautiful of architecture, the most beautiful of gardens, roadways, palaces in terms of modernity, in terms of garment installations, in terms of buildings which will be along with nature, which will be along with the flowers, which will be along with the gardens, which will be along with the natural life. The most beautiful birds will be in the best of cities. Also, it will be a haven of nature on earth, along with the most advanced technologies into the future. Let's replenish our earth.
Once upon a time, Alexander the Great embarked on a journey, not just for conquest, but for understanding the mysterious energies of the earth that sustain life itself. The oracle prophecy. In the heart of Delphi, the oracle whispered of a hidden power beneath the earth, energies that nurtured all living things. Intrigued, Alexander set out to uncover these secrets and harness them for the prosperity of his empire. Traveling with his trusted companions, Alexander ventured through dense forests and across vast deserts. Along the way, he listened to the wisdom of elders and sages who spoke of the earth's energy flowing through all creation like a great river. The hidden valley. After months of travel, they arrived at a hidden valley, lush and vibrant, untouched by the scars of war. Here, the air was thick with the palpable energy, and the land seemed to pulse with life. Alexander felt a deep connection to the place, as if the earth itself was speaking to him. The guardian of the earth. Within the valley, they encountered a wise old hermit, the guardian of the earth, who revealed the secret. The energies were the life food and the lifeblood of the planet, connecting every living thing in a delicate balance. To harness them, one must respect and protect the natural world. The revelation which Alexander got. Alexander realized that true greatness lay not in conquest, but in harmony with these energies. Inspired, he vowed to live and lead with wisdom.
ensuring his empire flourished by embracing the natural world's balance. The return of Alexander. Returning to his empire, Alexander shared the knowledge he had gained. He promoted sustainable practices, honored the earth's resources, and taught his people to live in harmony with nature. The legacy of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great's legacy became one of the legacies of unity and respect for the earth, a testament of the profound energies that sustain our life. And so, the story of Alexander and the energies of the earth was passed down through generations, a timeless reminder of the power of harmony with nature. Alexander, through his young age, had respect for the energies of the earth which sustain life. He knew that his idea of conquest was along with the energies of the earth. He worked with people not just by war but also by having understanding with different kings, queens, through relationships within his own family. He had some of his daughters married to other kings, and thereby he conquered those territories not because of conquest as we see today, but by an understanding, that they could work together and govern together and prosper together. He had relationships with other kingdoms. But towards the end, Alexander had greater ambitions of life, and he took more than he could envision. His legacy of conquest and his legacy of architecture, his legacy of administration is a reminder today that we have to move with the energies of the earth which sustain life. Any kind of governance, any kind of understanding of expanding territories must only be with the energies of the earth. Thereby, there might not be war, there might not be real conquest in the physical sense, but you will have understanding with people so that you can govern better along with the energies of the earth. Towards the end of Alexander's life, because of his imbalance with the energies of the earth, he wanted to conquer more than what he could manage, maybe. And his life came to a downfall. And he lost his life and lost everything that he had conquered. Now, the question of conquest in today's life is about about your corporate warfare. Sometimes we might need to go against our competitors and conquer the markets. But conquest of markets or getting a new market share is about being concerned about the future generations, living your life in the present along with the energies of the earth, having a meaning for people whom your product is going to be useful. The more useful your product is, the more you conquer the markets. It's not by deceiving. It's not by any other means. If your life is useful to people, you will conquer their hearts. The money will run after you. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants a good life, including the person who wants to conquer a territory, a person who wants to get something out. We should know that anything in life that we get, be it the greatest of failure, the greatest of victories, is because of our attitude of stubbornness, of going after our flesh alone. The greatest of failures in the stock markets, the greatest of failures in life, the greatest of pits we can fall into in our lives is because we have a concept of getting things for our flesh alone. We might call it conquest, we might call it anything else, but it does not have any meaning. Your life can be only meaningful if it is helpful to other beings. Your life will have meaning. Your life will have all of the blessings. Your life will have everything in abundance once you're with the energies of the earth which sustain life. And Alexander the Great story reflected his governance along with the energies of the earth, reflected his attitude in getting more territories along with the energies of the earth. Initially he had understandings with other kings, other queens, and through those understandings they were able to manage better. But towards the end of his life, maybe through advisors who were about the carnal desires alone, about the flesh alone, his mind went for conquest of more than what he could manage. Conquest about himself alone, about his name alone, about his territories that he can gain alone. And he tried to get more territories than what he could manage. And thereby he lost his life and lost most of his meaning of his life. Although we remember him for the territories he acquired to an extent, we also remember Alexander the Great as an example of futility. The example of futility of trying to conquer the largest parts of the earth makes our life meaningless. Alexander the Great's life is known for the initial phase of his life, for the administration, for the beautiful gardens that he had in his kingdom, for all of the greatest infrastructure that he had built, along with the energies of the earth. But the moment he started to be extremely ambitious, the moment he started to be stubborn, that he wanted to conquer the whole of the world, that was the time when his life was met with all kinds of deprivation. During his march towards different places, once his mind became all about himself, once his mind became all about trying to get as much as possible and trying to get the greatest name in terms of conquest of the earth, he lost the balance of the eternal source of life. He lost the mindset which he had along with the energies of the earth which sustain life, and the energies of the earth which sustain life turn against him. Alexander's the Great story must be an example to show us that as long as we are with the energies of the earth, we will have abundance. We will have everything that we want in terms of our life on earth, and also our life will have a meaning in the yesterday, today and tomorrow, provided we have a clear direction to live a life along with the source code of life which sustains all living beings. Let's replenish our earth.
Let's examine the story of Michael Jackson, the most enduring celebrity of our lifetimes. A celebrity who has drawn inspiration from the early 70s till today. Let's experience his life and get to know about how his life prospered along with the energies of the life which sustains the energy of the earth, and how his life kind of deteriorated to the last point of his life once he lost focus with the energies of the earth. Michael Jackson and his early life was deeply connected to the energy of the earth all around him. Growing up in Gary, Indiana, he and his siblings formed the Jackson 5. Their music, rooted in rhythms of melodies that reflected the pulse of life, brought them early success. Michael's connection to the earth's sustaining energy was evident in their music and performances. Songs like the Earth Songs captured his concern for the planet and its well-being. He drew inspiration from nature
using his art to highlight environmental issues and the importance of harmony with the world. As he rose to unprecedented fame, Michael's life became more complex. The initial energy that fueled his creativity began to be overshadowed by the pressures of being a celebrity and the demands of the industry. His connection to the natural world, once a source of inspiration and grounding, was compromised. Despite his struggles, Michael continued to reach out through his music, reminding the world of the importance of caring for the earth. However, the imbalance in his personal life took a toll, leading to a deterioration in health and well-being. Ultimately, Michael Jackson's story is a poignant reminder of the need to stay connected to the life-sustaining forces of our earth. It reflects the importance of the balance of being creative along with fame and the grounding energy of nature. A balance is essential for a fulfilling life. The life of Michael Jackson should also be an inspiration for us and also a reminder of the pitfalls of being in imbalance with the energies of the earth which sustain life. Let's replenish our earth.
Success or failure in life is not measured by a temporary speck of life on earth alone. If you're moving with a purpose, if your life is lived along with the true meaning of a human life, we have creativity, and that's the only difference between us and other species of life. If you're making the beginning to move with the source code of life during your lifetime, you do not have to bother about failure or success. That is not your objective. When you're with the source code of life, there is no success or failure in it. It is the system of the universe which works for all beings. And once you move into that sphere of thinking, an area of life, your life is not measured by just your human presence on earth. Your life is one with the source code of eternity. You made a beginning in your lifetime, and it will move with the source code of life with eternity.
Let's understand that you cannot be a failure in any sphere of life. If you have a purpose with the energies of the earth, there just cannot be failure. Failure is only associated with the carnal flesh. Deprivation of one's life is only associated with following the desires of your flesh alone. The moment you recognize that you are a human with creativity and move with the energies of the earth in your sphere of life, you're bound to be successful because you are moving into success. When you're with the oxygen that you breathe, that oxygen is keeping us alive. And keeping you alive itself is a part of success. Keeping us alive. And once you're moving with the energy of the oxygen, you're bound to be successful because you're moving into a sphere of life which is sustaining the very planet that we live, which is sustaining every human, which is sustaining ourselves, our children, and their future. Let's replenish our earth. Once upon a time, George Washington, the founding father of a new nation, sought to understand the energies of the earth that sustain life. The dream of unity. Amidst the rolling hills of Mount Vernon, Washington dreamed of a unified land, thriving in harmony with nature. He believed that understanding the earth's energies was crucial for the prosperity of his people. The wise elder. One afternoon, a wise elder visited sharing tales of the land's energy. So invisible force connecting soil, water, and sky. Interviewed, Washington listened, eager to learn how the energies of the earth guide his leadership. The journey of discovery of Washington. George Washington embarked on a journey across the colonies, observing the natural world with a newfound appreciation. He marveled at the rivers, the flow of the rivers, the forests, the resilience, and the fertile lands, each brimming with life-giving energy. The spirit of the land. George Washington came to appreciate the spirit of the land terrain. In the Appalachian Mountains, Washington met a group of Native American Indian leaders who spoke of the earth as a living entity. They taught him that respecting and nurturing the land ensured the well-being of all of the land's inhabitants. A vision of the future for Washington inspired Washington envisioned a nation that cherished as natural resources. He encouraged sustainable farming, conservation, and a deep respect for the land's bounty in which the people lived. Leading by example, George Washington, returning to Mount Vernon, Washington implemented practices that honored the earth's energies. He rotated crops, preserved forests, and protected waterways, setting an example for others to follow. A lasting legacy of George Washington, one of the founding fathers of modern America, the United States of America. George Washington legacy became one of the stewardship and respect for the natural world. His vision of harmony with the earth's energies influenced generations, fostering a nation that thrived in balance with nature. And so, this story of George Washington and the energies of the earth was passed down, reminding all of the enduring power of living in harmony with the land in which they inhabit. The story of George Washington is not just a history, it is a living example of the founding father of a nation who sought to give his land and his people the very best in terms of the energies of the earth. He understood that the energies of the earth which sustain life is the basic foundation of a new nation. And today, the prosperity of America, the prosperity of the land of the United States of America is because of this founding father. Let's replenish our earth.
Around 300 years ago, in the King's Court, there was a wrestling match, and it was one of the greatest matches in the King's Court. And there were different people preparing for the wrestling matches. And for the first time, it included even women. And there were 5 different women in different fields who were preparing for the wrestling match. And it was one of the greatest contributions that they could make towards the wrestling field, because being recognized by the king would mean that they get one of the most sought after spots in the security of the king as a female guard and the queen.
So they would be in charge of the security of the queen if they won the wrestling match. That was one of the incentives for the wrestlers. Apart from that, they would get some of the best cash prizes and house with a lot of area for the person who wins the wrestling match. So people from across the kingdom, women from across the kingdom, started to vie for this coveted title. They started training hard, very, very hard, with extreme measures. Some of them got up very early in the morning, by 3 o'clock, started running, usually either at the beaches or in the places and locations where they were across the grass fields. They started to toughen up. They started to compete with other women athletes within that territory. But being the best wrestler just did not include hard work. It also included aspects of the mind by which they could win the wrestling match against the next women. So the wrestling tournament started, and the 5 women from different fields out of the hundreds came to the finals. All of the 5 women, or the girls who were competing for the post, had all the abilities of the muscle. They were able to put down each other very fast. They're the best of moves. But there was one wrestler within the group of 5 who came to the finals, who was connected to the universal mind in body, mind and soul. She was also into meditation. She was also into respect for the source code of life. It sustains all life in our world. She was one in meditation with the breathing. She respected the oxygen. She had respect for the water that she drank. And she made it a point that along with her wrestling skills, along with her techniques, she was in devotion and in resonance with the source code of life. The other athletes, although they had all of the gaming skills, they were not concerned about the oxygen or the water. All they were concerned about was winning the title. And because of this discipline of this one particular wrestler, girl, who had devotion for her game of wrestling, as well as she had respect in terms of meditation and respect for the source code of life, which included the water and the oxygen. She made it a point to activate her wrestling skill along with meditation. And during her time of meditation, along with the source code of life, along with the universal energies which sustain life, or God as we call in different religions, she was able to draw from the eternal source of the universe. The other wrestlers had all kinds of beliefs which was completely tuned to the techniques, but this one wrestler came into the finals and had the stamina, had the backing of the universal force, because she was in resonance with the universal force, and along with the technique, along with the hard work, along with the dedication, and along with her meditation with the source code of life, she won the tournament. Now, even after winning the tournament, she called all of the other 5 athletes and told them that although I have won the tournament, I consider each of you also to be, along with me, a winner. But the only difference you must make is, for any tournament to be won, is that you have to move with the source code of life. Any other field of work, any other dedication, my winning will not have any kind of meaning, even if I have won by my own means, she told the group. If I'm not in resonance, if I'm not in meditation with the source code of life, my winning might turn into a curse, she told the other group. If I was not in resonance with the source code of life, which sustains every life form in the universe, which is the godly force of our religions. And in turn, she held a group party for all of the 5 women, not as a party just to enjoy, but a kind of party to come in resonance with the source code of life and help her mates understand that devotion to the energies of life is what sustains us, is what helps us, what nourishes us, and what blesses us with the ultimate medal from the universal force. The medal from the universal force, the winning medal from the universal force, is not the winning medal by such. It is your place in this world by which you help the future generations have a better life. And that is our winning medal. There cannot be any winning medal in life, even if the world says that you have won and given you all the titles. That title will not have meaning. That title might turn into a curse if we do not have a clear purpose of serving the future generations by being in the present, in our fields of work, in our sports, in our activities. Let's replenish our earth.
Often we see in the world that people tend to believe in happiness, which is associated with the hypothalamus, or the chemicals within the mind which make people happy. And with happiness, people associate the cares of the flesh, which includes an undisciplined life, all kinds of foods which might not be nourishing for the body, mind and soul, but which exclusively gives pleasure to the taste buds, which can be high processed foods or any food which we term as fast food, or any kind of nourishment which is not really good for the body, or which does not give nourishment to the body but gives pleasure to the taste buds. Apart from food, it's also the lifestyle which we have come to understand through maybe the different channels of entertainment or the different channels of information that we perceive within our subconscious about a good life. The images that we pursue about a good life is about very unhealthy lifestyle, as we mentioned, maybe all kinds of exorbitant foods which might not be good for the body, mind and soul, but which gives pleasure. Lifestyles which does not have discipline, which does not give a balance to the life, and most importantly, a lifestyle without a purpose with the universal source of life, the life-giving force of our earth. A good life on earth can be only measured by your disciplined life.
A disciplined life is a good life. What the world projects and what the video projects and what the information that we receive in the movies about high-flying lifestyle, which just cares about satisfying the desires of the flesh alone without a greater purpose of serving the future generations and serving the energy systems of the earth, have no meaning, have no purpose. It becomes a completely futile life towards the end, a life of discipline along with a clear purpose with the universal source of life is what makes our life be remembered in the yesterday, today and tomorrow. There were 3 sisters and 2 brothers living around 555 years back. Now, as I said, it might be a story or a parable, but these 3 sisters and the 2 brothers were conditioned and disciplined by their parents to live a disciplined life. A disciplined life gave them a list of things to be done during the day. They had a system of lifestyle during the day which was good for the body, mind and soul. They had a system of food habits which was instilled by their parents so that they could keep their bodies healthy through their lifetimes as much as possible. Now, these 3 sisters and brothers grew up and became different professionals in different fields. One was a minister in one of the king's courts. The other one was the surgeon of those times. The other person was a person who helped people with all kinds of medicines which were homegrown, which were natural in those times. Another person was a lawyer who also helped people in trouble with the law and who had troubles with their lives, and he helped them improve their lives. The other person was a travel specialist in those times. A travel specialist around 550 years back was people who guided rich families or even people who had the means to travel through their horses to different places and enjoy the lifestyle. So he was one with the earth, and he traveled different places around with his horse as much as he could, and then he advised people to travel to the most beautiful places in terms of nature. At the same time, there were 5 other people in the world who were conditioned by their parents, who believed that money and wealth and the associated lifestyle was all that mattered. These 5 people grew up thinking that money and wealth was the only means of goodness, and they fell into all kinds of wrong habits. One turned into the mafia, and over a period of time, the law enforcement of those times were behind it. The other turned into someone who was trying to make money as fast as possible through nefarious businesses. All other 3 brothers got into businesses which are nefarious, and over a period of time, since they were working for their flesh alone, for their bodies alone, without a clear purpose with the universal force of life, their lives turned a misery, and towards the end of their lives, they did not have a purpose with the future generations. They did not have a purpose with the present generations. They did not get into any fields of idea which helps the present generations prosper along with the energies of the earth which sustain life, the oxygen, the water, and all other systems of life. And they did not have a purpose for the future generation. Their lives on earth were completely futile on the last day, and their lives did not have a meaning in the yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The former 5 children of parents who had instilled in them to move along with the energies of the earth and have a meaning in the today and the future generations. Their lives were blessed and had a meaning in the eternity of time of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This should be our lesson in terms of our present. Our activities, our lifestyle should be along with the source code of life. Let's replenish our earth. Sometimes the most stubborn and persistent we get in life in acquiring things or going after any purpose without being one with the source code of life or without having a clear purpose in the life. Being stubborn about anything, being persistent about anything, chasing after any kind of dream with your carnal self alone is a surefire way of losing everything, which includes our physical bodies, which includes our lifestyle, which includes the meaning of lifestyle. And this cannot be overemphasized again and again. But the foolishness within our minds sometimes make us go after our carnal flesh no matter what. And as we mentioned before, the surefire way of getting your worst enemy to the downfall is to help them chase after something which is about their carnal flesh alone. And you can be assured that that person is going into a deep pit because he has no purpose in life other than chasing after money, other than chasing after the carnal self alone. We must understand that we are humans because we have the source code of creativity. There was 3-4 animals running. One was the horse, one was the jackal, one was the dog. The 4th animal was flying. It was the eagle. It's not an animal, it's a bird, but apart from humans. And the 5th animal was a shark in the water. Now all those 4 and 5 animals were running in their area of life. The dog was running because it wanted to enjoy the way it ran, and also on the way if it found some food it was quite happy. The jackal was running because it was looking and scavenging for food. The horse was running because it wanted to have a good time in the meadows, and it was within the instinct to run and enjoy its being. The other animal, the shark, the fish within the sea, was moving deep down the waves looking for food in its own expanse of food. The sea was its area of influence, and it knew by instinct where to get the best of food, which include the smaller fishes. Now all these 5 animals were running because of its animal instinct. Now humans, on the other hand, there was a rich man running his life without a purpose. And the more money he got, the more he was more bent on getting more. There was another rich man who had a purpose of his life, and his life was being blessed by the universal force because he was one with the source code of life, and the energies of the earth, which included the oxygen, started to bless his life because he started being grateful for the smallest things in life, including the oxygen and the water. And by being grateful, he was moving into abundance. Now this is the difference of our humanity. The rich man with a purpose along with the energies of the earth, is the best example for the future generations. It's the best example for the present generations. Any kind of lifestyle without a clear purpose along with the energies of the earth to sustain life will be completely futile. All of our discoveries, our inventions into the future, which includes the deepest of learning, must be for the betterment of the present systems of the earth, the present lifestyle of the earth, the present greenery around us, the present lifestyles of our energy systems of earth, which includes the oxygen, water, and everything else which sustains our human life, by being respectful and joining forces with the energies of the earth which sustain life in the present for the future generations. Our lives are not just blessed. That is the whole meaning of life. That is the purpose of why our life was formed. Any other activity for the flesh alone just makes us one with all other animals, which was running after food. For the animal it was food, for humans it might be more in terms of our carnal desires. Let us not disrespect our presence as humans on earth. Let us respect our presence as humans on earth and be with the source code of life which sustains the future generations and every energy system on earth into the future. The source code of our universe, the source code of life, is what we must respect. Let's replenish our earth. The life of Shakespeare and the earth's life-sustaining energy. In the late 16th century, William Shakespeare strolled through the bustling streets of London. The city was alive with vibrant energy of people, commerce, and creativity. Shakespeare, a playwright and poet, found inspiration in the world around him, nature's human emotion, and the mysteries of life. As he crafted his masterpieces, Shakespeare was deeply connected with the rhythms of the earth. The natural world, with the cycles and seasons, mirrored the themes of his plays: love, betrayal, and the passage of time. The energy of the earth sustaining life through sun, soil, water was a silent backdrop to his work. In Stratford-upon-Avon, his birthplace, Shakespeare often retreated to the countryside. Here he felt the heartbeat of the land, the whispers of the wind, the gentle flow of the river Avon. These elements of nature fueled his imagination, grounding his stories in the reality of the world's sustaining power. The earth, abundant with resources, provided the food, shelter, and the materials necessary for life. The interplay of human creativity, theatre, where wooden beams supported the stage, and the sunlit sky served as a natural spotlight. Through his words, Shakespeare captured the essence of life's energy, the passions that drive us, the beauty that surrounds us, the beauty all around us of nature, the enduring connection between humanity and earth, the connection of human beings and all energy systems of life, which includes the oxygen, the water, the gravity, and all systems of life. His legacy, much like the planet's sustaining energy, continues to inspire us and nourish our souls. Let Shakespeare's life be an example for us. He wrote the best of plays, the greatest of plays, the greatest of books, the greatest of inspiration among his theatre was an enduring legacy of his lifetime, which still resonates in our world today. The examples of his play, the characters of his play, shows us directions and guides us towards the right ways of life. It gives us a meaning, a profound meaning in the source code of life, of the meaning of our life, along with the life-sustaining forces for our present times and into the future. Let's replenish our earth. The future of war is all about lasers to a degree.
And by the use of lasers, humans 100 years and 300 years in the future would have reached such a stage that the lasers are so powerful that it can extinguish vast amounts of areas. But humans also have come to an understanding that these weapons are so powerful that it must not be used indiscriminately. Just like how we have nuclear weapons as of today, but we do not use it. But we store it in case we have to, but we will not use it in most probability. But it is a defense mechanism by which we assure the aggressor that they will be dealt with extremely and very firmly by our possession of a nuclear weapon. Such will be the impact of laser technologies into the future in terms of war. Countries will have later technologies in terms of the guns they use. Today we use bullets in terms of war or law enforcement. Into the future, lasers will be a weapon of choice, a weapon which will be available, but a weapon must be used only in terms of defense of the energies of the earth which sustain life. As we said before, there are forces on earth, there are completely insensible energies which do not respect the energies of the earth which sustain life, and which is bent upon destroying the energies of the earth which sustain life for all humans. It might be just 0.1% of the population of the earth, but even 0.01 population of the earth might be 100,000 or more people on earth. So, at some point of time, laser weapons will be used as a weapon of choice, but we must be absolutely sure that these weapons into the future is for the protection of the energy systems of the earth which sustain life and nothing else. It must not be used as an offensive weapon, because if people get such, if governments with ulterior motives or people with ulterior motives against the energies of the earth get such weapons, it will be determinal for the future children of the earth. The weapons of the future will be all powerful in terms of laser weapons and also miniaturized nuclear weapons, which must be used only for the defense of the planet. We will have technologies which will be able to discern asteroids which might be coming towards Earth and colliding with Earth. As we know, some of the greatest species of life, which was millions of years ago, got extinguished as per our knowledge through asteroids. We will have the technologies to move away asteroids from its direction towards the Earth and move away from colliding with Earth. Such technology will be possible. It might be through nuclear energies and laser weapons or any other kind of technologies into the future. This will be enabled by the greatest deep systems of learning and the quantum computers into the future. But again, these systems of weapons must again be used for the protection of our Earth, protection of the life systems which help the future generations. Only then will all of these greatest technologies in terms of warfare for the protection of our Earth will have meaning for the future of our Earth, for the future children of our Earth, the future child and all of the energy systems which sustain life on Earth. It will have meaning with the source code of life for our Earth, for our children of the future. Let's replenish our Earth. There will be technologies into the future where humans will be able to fly like birds, but not essentially flapping their wings. But there will be technologies which will just
be able to lift humans out of the ground using miniature technologies that we see in a helicopter today, but it will be so miniaturized that it will be a part of the body equipment, and it will be able to displace gravity, which pulls us back to Earth, and also confront the energies which provides a hindrance to the flight, which includes the force of the air and other forces which might be a hindrance to flight. But these technologies will be miniaturized. As we see today, a helicopter and also smaller planes which takes off vertically. These planes and systems will be much miniaturized in equipments and jackets by which humans just move into them and then move into an open area, and they can just lift off from Earth. These technologies can be enabled even 50 years or 100 years into the future for the vast majority of the human population. Today we know that there are such equipments available, but they are more on the sports field. You see that a man can or woman can fly within a particular area using thrust and the associated technology, but it is mostly for the sports as of now. But in the future, this will be the mobility of humans. Humans will have a whole lot of choice. If they want to move by themselves, they will just move into one of these jackets, along with the humanoid systems of guidance, which is with the deepest of learning chips, the greatest of chips, and the quantum computers, will enable flights of travel of humans from any location in the world to another, provided they have the access to such places. We will be able to draw from the power of the solar energy, the wind energy, which is all around us. Once we move into the air, the energies which is available to us is the energy of the wind, is the energy of the sun. We will be able to draw those energies. We will be able to store those energies in miniaturized forms. Today, in case we want to store energy, we need big batteries. But our technologies, along with the greatest of quantum computers and deep learning, will help us store those energies in very miniaturized forms. And thereby, that energy is in store for us for flights and all kinds of activities of technologies. And these technologies will have only meaning, as we said before, if you're working along with the energies of the earth, will sustain life for the future generations. Let's replenish our earth.